Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jasmine and you're watching Monetary Mouth. In today's video, we're going to be discussing quarterly estimated tax payments and what you should know in order to make sure that you're meeting your self-employment obligations to the IRS. Some important things to know about quarterly estimated taxes are who should be paying quarterly estimated taxes, how you should be paying quarterly estimated taxes, how much you should be paying quarterly estimated taxes. Those are just a few of the things that we're going to discuss today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First question is, who should be paying quarterly estimated tax payments? You definitely want to be paying quarterly estimated tax payments if you're somebody who expects to owe the IRS more than $1,000 at the end of the year when you file your annual 1040 tax return. Now, there's a few different scenarios of questions that I always get about quarterly estimated tax payments, and it's usually, I normally get a big refund. Do I need to pay quarterly estimated tax payments? The answer is no, you don't need to pay quarterly estimated tax payments, but that answer is different for different people for different reasons, because some people want to still pay quarterly estimated tax payments because they have a different plan every year for their large refund that they get. Now, because I want to make this video quick so we have enough time to post it early this morning for you guys have the whole day to be able to watch it and get your estimated quarterly tax payments calculated and paid today in order for you not to miss the deadline. I'm not going to talk about every single scenario and circumstance. We can definitely make another video about that another time. As a matter of fact, you can put your questions about your personal circumstances below if I don't specifically address that situation. But as far as who should be paying quarterly estimated tax payments, it would be anybody who expects to owe the IRS more than $1,000 and therefore does not want to be fined with penalties and interest for owing more than $1,000 because they did not pay estimated quarterly tax payments. The second question is, how do I pay estimated quarterly tax payments? Am I filing quarterly estimated tax payments? Are they tax returns that we're filing, or are they just payments that you're sending in? And the answer is, quarterly estimated tax payments are just a payment amount that you're sending to the IRS for the amount that you anticipate to owe based on your earnings for that prior quarter. That's the quick answer. And I will get into an example of that while I'm showing you how exactly you can make those payments. And the third question is, how much should I be paying quarterly estimated taxes? And I will definitely also address this as I screen share with you guys in how to pay it. We'll also talk about the basic calculation as a general blanket statement of how much you guys can expect to send the IRS on a quarterly basis. And then just know that at the end of the year, when you file your 2020 1040 tax return, you will reconcile all those amounts that you paid to the IRS in quarterly taxes. In addition to your income and expenses, you'll put all of that together in your tax return and you'll get a result of either breaking even, hopefully, perhaps getting a little bit back because you paid too much during the year, or owing if you didn't pay enough during the year or you didn't have other credits such as child tax credits or earned income credits to offset your self-employment taxes that you pay. Now, I just want to share one more thing with you guys about quarterly estimated taxes so that it could help you understand exactly what it is that you're doing when you're paying quarterly estimated taxes. Quarterly estimated taxes are otherwise known as FICA taxes, which resemble self-employment taxes. Self-employment taxes are essentially Medicare and Social Security taxes. When you work for a company and you get a W-2 at the end of the year, you'll notice that the W-2 resembles the Social Security and Medicare taxes that were withheld out of your paychecks during the year, and that usually amounts to about 7.65% of the total 15.3% self-employment tax that each person is essentially responsible for. Now, the reason why you will only see your W-2 reflect only about 7.65% of that amount rather than 15.3% is because your employer, let's say, for example, Target, pays that other portion in for you and on your behalf. When you're self-employed, such as being a VIPKid teacher, there is no company that is your employer paying the other half for you. So that's why you're responsible for the total 15.3% in Social Security and Medicare taxes. When you pay quarterly estimated taxes during the year, you're essentially paying in the taxes that would have otherwise been withheld out of your paychecks if you were getting a formal paycheck from a company. I hope that answers most of your questions, which is just the three to four top basic ones that we get all the time. Again, I mentioned that this video is going to be a quick video for you guys to just be able to meet the deadline today as a general blanket statement amount that you should be sending in. And then you can spend the rest of fourth quarter possibly getting a little bit better of a calculation as far as your income and expenses throughout the year. And you can send a more accurate amount for your final fourth quarter 2020 estimated quarterly taxes. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and we'll walk you through the first and easiest way for you to send a quarterly estimated tax payment to the IRS today. All right, guys. So when you land on the IRS website, which is irs.gov, you'll just go ahead and come over here to make a payment. And then you'll come to the section that says pay your taxes now, and you'll have the option to click on either bank account using ACH, so you'll be putting in your account number and routing number, or you'll choose debit card or credit card if you're going to be putting the number from your debit card or credit card rather than your actual ACH credentials. All right, so you'll, in this example, click on the bank account. We're going to come down here to choose make a payment. This is the part you guys are probably all going to have questions about, or most people who are submitting a payment to the IRS have questions about. When you, in this first section here, reason for payment, it's very important that you choose the right reason for your payment, because this is how the IRS codes the payment that you send. So for example, when you submit your most recent 2019 tax return, and let's say you have a $5,000 balance due, and you go on the IRS website to pay that $5,000, if you accidentally choose anything other than tax return or notice in that situation, because you would be paying for your tax return, taxes due, that $5,000 payment might get coded to, let's say, estimated taxes. So you'd be getting a bill from the IRS saying, hey, you filed your 2019 taxes and you didn't send us $5,000, so you owe us $5,000 plus penalties and interest for not paying on time. You'd need to call the IRS, verify you sent the payment on that date, and then the representative on the phone would need to recode that payment for you to fulfill that obligation that the $5,000 payment was for. So I say all that to say, make sure that when you're paying your estimated tax payments, when you get to this section here, choose estimated tax for your reason. All of you will choose the same option, 1040, because that is the, first of all, only option. And second of all, that is the tax form number that you file as an individual, period. And then also specifically to you as VIPKid teachers or anybody self-employed sole proprietors, would their Schedule C would still end up back on form 1040. So you'll always be choosing 1040. And then you're making the estimated tax payment for this year, this tax year. So it's 2020 tax year. You'll be filing taxes for it in 2021. And when you do file taxes in 2021 for 2020, it's very important that you go back and report on that tax return that you're filing how much you paid in quarterly taxes. It's not something the IRS just keeps track of and adds it to your tax return for you. A lot of times my clients, I will prepare their quarterly taxes for them. I will give them the quarterly vouchers with the due dates of how much they're supposed to pay on what date. And the next tax season, they'll forget to tell me that they paid estimated quarterly taxes. Now, the reason why I didn't necessarily catch it off top of my head is because I can't guarantee that you're going to make the quarterly estimated tax payments when I give you the vouchers and the due dates for them. A lot of people do. Some people come across hardships and they just don't, and they end up having a bigger tax liability at the end of the year when they file their taxes, but there's no way for the person doing the taxes to know that you've already paid them or not. So it's not something that reconciles automatically. You want to make sure that you keep receipts, screenshots, bank records for the payments that you send on the day that you send it, because you will need to put this information on your tax return come the end of that year when you file for that calendar year. All right, so then it'll just confirm what you've chosen that you want to do. You'll click continue. You'll come in here, and this part is probably the only part of this that could really prevent anybody from moving forward. A lot of people have trouble in this area, which is the IRS has to verify your identity before they allow you to make a payment to them, surprisingly. So this information has to match your most recently filed tax returns. So for the 2020 tax year right now that you're making an estimated quarterly tax payment, on today's date, September 15th, if you already have filed your 2019 tax return and you know that it's already been accepted and it's done and over with, all that, you've gotten your refund or whatever the case might have been, you choose 2019 and just fill out this information according to your 2019 tax return. But if your 2019 tax return is on an extension, meaning you have until October 15th of this year to submit it, then you can choose the most recent one, which would be 2018 that you've already filed and paid. So we'd go through, fill this information in. I'm just going to put some information here. Okay, you'll fill this information out. And then you'll come down. I'm just going to go ahead and put my office address here. And then I accept the privacy paperwork. Now, look, when I'm going to hit next, it's going to say we couldn't verify your identity, right? So I just want to show you really quick what it looks like. If you put something that did not match your most recently filed tax return, it's going to say your identity could not be verified. So you need to either check the information or try a different tax year. It's very important that you choose your filing status. And then, of course, down here, first name and the last name is self-explanatory. Social security number is self-explanatory, date of birth, all that. It's very important that the address that you write here matches exactly the address that you had on your most recently filed tax return. So anyway, you'll continue, at which point you would get an actual pass screen, and I'll share that with you in a moment right now. Okay, so when you successfully pass that last verification screen, you'll end up on step 3 of 5 right here, which is going to be your payment information. You'll put in the total amount that you want to pay for this quarter, and this quarter, being that it's due today, September 15th, you would be including your earnings from June 1st to August 31st. So let me also share this with you really quickly here on my screen. These are the due dates for the 2020 current year estimated taxes. So your first payment and second payment were due July 15th. Normally, 2 wouldn't be due on one day, but of course, because of the pandemic, they gave us that extension for the second payment to also be due July 15th. Now, the third payment for June 1st to August 31st is due by September 15th, which is today. And then the fourth payment, which would be for the time period of September 1st to December 31st, is due by January 15th. And then tax season starts somewhere around, let's say, January 28th, 29th usually is the first day the IRS accepts an e-file. So you have an opportunity to pay your last one and then include it on your tax return when you file for the 2020 tax year. So here is the big part, which is how much you should be paying. Of course, it's going to be different for everybody depending on the types of income they have, maybe self-employment income, rental real estate income, W-2 income. A lot of people have a mixture of these things within their tax return. So surely the best way to know specifically how much you should be paying is to consult a tax professional. And I will have my calendar link active again for next month in order to take on consultations. This pandemic has just really thrown business for a huge loop, and having to transition with my associate and my assistant now working from home and sometimes from the office and whatnot. On top of the fact that tax season never really ended this year, it's been a little bit of a challenge for me to keep my consultation appointments open. But my team and I are working on getting that going back up again, as well as getting this channel the attention that it deserves. So anyway, not to sidetrack on that, the amount, if you haven't had a chance to consult a professional about how much specifically you should be paying, I would say the best amount that you can pay to be on the safe side is 30% of your net earnings. Net earnings is the pure profit. So again, for VIPKid teachers, if you don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of calculating your home office and maybe your internet costs and stuff, you can just send about 30%, maybe a little bit less if you want, of the total amount that you make, knowing that it'll definitely be too much for that relative income. Now, if you have another spouse on your tax return, that's also making self-employment income and they're not paying estimated taxes, you still might owe at the end of the year, because the amount that you're paying, while it may be a little bit too much, is not going to be enough to cover yours and that person's. So if you don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of should you pay 30% of the gross versus should you pay 30% of the net, just pay it over the gross amount. If you want to pay a couple percent less, you can. The point of sending quarterly estimated taxes to the IRS is that at the end of the year, when you file taxes, you do not want to owe more than $1,000 to the IRS, because that's the point where penalties and interest start to kick in. So if you don't pay them quarterly estimated taxes, there's a penalty for not paying quarterly estimated taxes because you ended up owing more than $1,000, which the IRS considers loosely as you having borrowed their money like interest-free throughout the year. So then I'd say the number one intention of paying quarterly estimated taxes is to make sure that you don't have more than $1,000 liability come filing taxes at the end of the year. And of course, most people just don't want to have a huge tax bill, so they break it up so that they're paying that in while they're earning their money. So third quarter estimated tax payment that is due today, September 15th of 2020, you'll want to use your June, July, and August earnings to calculate that amount that you should send. Since we decided that 30% was going to be a good blanket amount to send if you don't know specifically how much you should be sending according to your own tax circumstances, what you'll do is take 30% of the gross amount for your earnings for June, July, and August. Let's say you made $1,000 each month for June, July, and August, meaning you made $3,000 total, and at 30% of that amount is $900. You'll have $300 for each $1,000 you made each month. The 300 times 3 makes it $900. You'll be sending the IRS a $900 payment as so. You'll come down and enter your bank account information and routing number. Now I'm going to pause recording here for a quick second so I can get this information in because of the bank account information. But if you had put in correct bank account information, then it would just take you to the next payment, which would be a confirmation. You'll type in your first name, last name, social security number as verification that you in fact are the one making this payment. And then it's done. You'll get a confirmation. You absolutely want to make sure that you print out the confirmation, screenshot it, take a picture of it with your phone, do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure and make certain that you have the confirmation number. Because if for any reason the payment gets lost, and they do get lost, you want to be able to easily pick up the phone and give the IRS agent the confirmation number, and they can track the payment down like this. I can't tell you how many countless times a payment has been missing until all of a sudden I pulled up the confirmation number, and it's like they pinpoint it, they find it, they put it, attach it to wherever it needs to be attached to if it was misplaced, and then that's it. So anyways, guys, I hope that helped you. I know it's quick. I'm going to try my best to not even have this really be edited because we have a lot of things that we have to do today. Today is also the deadline for business tax returns that were on an extension. So if you're an individual and you filed for your taxes to be on an extension, they are due October 15th. And if you're a corporation and you filed your taxes to be on an extension, then they would be due today. So we got to go do that. I got a few of them to submit, including my own. And so anyway, I really hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I know that it's quick. There is definitely another way to pay quarterly estimated taxes, which is through the EFTPS system. That's the best way to pay because it allows you to keep a history of your payments to the IRS rather than this is like a one-off payment. You print out the confirmation and your only hope of finding this payment again is you printing out that confirmation, unless it doesn't get lost and you're fine. But the EFTPS.gov site that you can go to and create yourself an EFTPS account, that will allow you to have a regular username and password to log in and log out and make all different kinds of payments to the IRS through a personal account of yours, where you can later run a history of all your payments. And then at the end of the year, you can just provide that to your tax professional along with your tax documents so that nothing goes missing. But the reason why I didn't show that in this video is because that process takes about 10 days in verification and setup. Since the tax deadline for those payments are today, September 15th, I wanted you to have a quick way of being able to send the payment today so that it's received today and that you have verification and proof of it, printing it out and confirmation number from today's payment. The EFTPS route is going to require you to enroll, wait for a receipt to come in the mail with a PIN, which takes about 10 days to come in. And then once that comes in, you're able to log back on and make payments. There's no time for that 10-day wait period. So this is the sure way to get your payment submitted today to ensure that you don't have penalties and interest come filing taxes next year. All right, guys, I really hope that this was helpful to you. Please do me a favor and subscribe to our channel, like the video, and we're going to be working on a ton more content as soon as I can get a grip on finishing tax season for the whole year. Not even tax season, let's call it tax year. We have a lot more content planned for you guys, and we will be rolling that out very soon. All right, guys, have a great day. Don't forget to send in your payments to the IRS for your third quarterly taxes due today, September 15th. Take care. Bye-bye.